What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Boogie2988 coming at you live once again through the power of the internet. And World of Warcraft Classic has finally launched. And now that we're a couple of days out, we can talk about it. The good and the bad. There were some disasters to be had, but for the most part, it was a very successful launch. I'll tell you my favorite part about this experience is it feels like it's 2004 again, except it's 2019. Thankfully, it's not 2004 again, because back then, of course, I was I was unpopular on the internet. Oh, I'm unpopular on the internet now. But back then, though, I was a shut-in. I never left the house. Actually, I haven't left the house in like 15 days. But back in 2004, I was single. Oh, I'm single again now. Ah!
Have you ever thought about adding servers for previous expansions as they were then?
No. And by the way, you don't want to do that either. You think you do, but you don't.
So World of Warcraft Classic turned out to be very, very popular, with over 1 million people watching streams of it on Twitch on the day that it launched, and with server queues getting up into the tens of thousands, causing people to wait several hours in order to play on their server of choice. And once you got into the server, you would find that it was actually very, very populated as well, especially in the newbie areas, with everybody trying to get their first few levels under their belts. You actually saw people waiting in line for quest pickups and quest turn-ins. And I don't know, that just kind of made everybody on the internet feel good to think that humanity is so cool that they would actually just wait in line to get their quest done, even if it would take a little bit of time. I mean, I guess it makes sense if you spent 5 hours waiting to get on the server. Waiting in line on the server would seem like a treat. Though it should be noted, if you choose to play on one of the newer servers or one of the less crowded servers, you're not going to have to deal with as much wait time. Some people are trying to play on the same server as Asmongold, and you're getting 5 and 6 hour long queue times because you're trying to play on the same server as some famous streamer. But if you want to come play on Westfall with me, our queue times there tend to be under 15 minutes. Now, Blizzard went on to explain why these kind of server queues happen. They said from the start of planning for this launch, we tried to prioritize the long-term health of our realm communities, recognizing that if we undershot the mark in terms of launch servers, we could move quickly to add additional realms, which they have been doing pretty much ever since the service launched. But if we went out with too many servers, weeks or months down the line, we'd have a much tougher problem to solve. While we have tools like free character transfers available as a long-term solution to underpopulate realms, everything about the process would be tremendously disruptive to realm communities. So it's something we want to avoid as much as possible. So on one hand, you can say that Blizzard once again underestimated the demand that these servers would be under, but they did kind of plan it ahead of time. And this has been a common thing you will see in the MMORPG genre. When a service goes live for the first time, the first day, everybody is ready to play on the day that it launches, and they are super excited to play. But as time goes on, life continues to go on as well. People return to work, they return to their daily routines, and they play less and less. So if they put a bunch of servers online up front, they spend a tremendous amount of cost, and they have to spend even more cost consolidating those servers to create a good experience. So they would rather create a bad experience on launch day than an overall bad experience for everyone involved. I've never necessarily agreed with this terminology. I've always thought it was more of a matter of cost than it was anything else, and I think it probably served them poorly here, but they do continue to add servers, and those servers tend to fill up almost immediately. But here's one thing that is for sure. This is definitely a service people want, at least for now. We're going to have to wait a couple of months to see if people stick it out. Though one thing is for certain here, the nostalgia is very real, whether it comes to the bugs or the server issues or the launch issues or the queue times. This is all what we experienced pretty much when World of Warcraft launched the first time, or every time they would launch a new experience, including even the most recent experiences have had some problems, even though the demand was never near quite as high. It's been pretty much exactly what you would expect from Blizzard back in 2005, so it's not such a surprise we have it now in 2019. I don't think they meant to be nostalgic in that way, but they certainly were. As of this recording, the servers have been online for about 72 hours. We already have a couple of level 42s as people race to be the very first person to level 60. And it's really interesting because one of the coolest things about these old school MMORPGs is that you could be famous. You could have a famous guild. You could be famous on your server. You could be famous worldwide amongst the World of Warcraft community. And we're seeing players like Joker D and Amphi here possibly becoming famous because they'll be one of the very first people to hit level 60. Certainly famous on their servers, probably running the biggest guild on the servers. And that's something you really just don't see in World of Warcraft these days in my experiences. And if we take a look at Google Trends data, we will see that the peak for World of Warcraft was sometime in November 2006. But fast forward to today, World of Warcraft is at an all-time low. But if we do take a look in the past 30 days, we will see this incredible spike for World of Warcraft where they've really captured the world's attention all over again. And that might turn out to be the measure of success, but reality is Blizzard's only going to consider this successful if it increases subscriber numbers, if people reactivated old accounts to come and play, and whether or not those people continue to play for a few months, maybe for the next year, playing on the vanilla servers for quite some time, or maybe some of those people will discover the latest version of World of Warcraft and start playing retail, and it will mean something good for the game overall. I mean, Blizzard is a company that is owned by Activision these days, and of course their bottom line is going to be the only thing that matters, so they're going to need to make more money than they spent performing this exercise for it to actually work out for them. But for now, this has just been a very tremendously fun experience, sitting on Twitch 3-4 hours at a time, streaming this old classic game and enjoying it with you guys, either playing with you guys, talking to you guys in chat, or even reconnecting with old friends that I just kind of forgot existed that I only ever saw on Blizzard's Battle.net. And now I'm seeing these people all over again for the first time in years. And it's just been a nostalgic, fun trip down memory lane. It kind of feels like 2004 again. Now, of course, this is all one man's opinion. I could be wrong. Let me know what you think in the description box below. Did you have any interest in playing World of Warcraft again? Did you decide to do it? Did you set in a long server queue? Are you going to come play on Westfall with me, or are you going to come watch me stream this on Twitch until I get bored of doing this, which will probably happen within the next couple of weeks? Let's be honest with you. I'm not that grindy kind of guy anymore. Or am I? Guys, as always, thanks for watching. I love you very much, and I'll speak with you again soon. I'm going to go have an existential crisis.